I thought it had a great sense of style. It had a dark sense of humor that I tend to be partial to. Excuse me. And it had a really sort of great natural dynamic between the two lead performers that I thought really carried the piece well. They had a great back and forth between each other. There's a lot of really great scenes that worked humor wise. The revealing of the body, him trying to choke her, the escalation that gets both of them involved in the murders. And I thought it really sort of had a good sense of style and sort of building up how these two generally mundane and normal seeming people have gotten into such a graphic and violent escapade. And I thought the piece had a great sense of self awareness about that conceit that really contributed to why it ended up working so well. I thought the actors did a great job in the closing scene in particular. You can sort of see the transformation they have gone through and the buildup of how they're going to continue to go on their murder spree. And I thought that the piece just generally had a great stylistic approach in terms of cinematography, the blood work, the violence. I thought it all really worked well in such a contained setting. So I thought it was a well produced, well acted, and it had a good sense of humor that ended up really matching with a sort of horror graphic aesthetic in a way that I thought really reflected a sort of an academic appreciation for the genre in general.
I think it only makes sense that comedy and horror go together so well because they're both about like flipping audience expectations of the norm. So to put them together in such a interesting way only made sense and only made it complement each other. I think it was a great way, like the serial killer genre is such a great way to incorporate like slapstick. With blood and like chopping stuff off and being so on the nose about it with the joke writing as well. Um, it it was like back to back, everything made sense. It was uh fun to watch. Like it just made the story not only thrilling but like in my opinion more enjoyable. And I think in my opinion, every horror story should be like this, because it was so fun for me to watch. Um, Great joke writing, great sense of physicality, with that as well, as I previously said. Great job to the actresses. Their timing was very, very well in the delivery of these jokes. And overall, it was a really great, like, very well put together piece.
Geniusly, deliciously funny. And the humour is kind of present in all aspects of the film. So you've got really funny performances, you've got really funny dialogue, you've got a very funny plot, but it also uses visual comedy really well. And there's ways that it's shot and edited that themselves are humorous. It just displays like this full command of like the whole range of comedy, which is not something you see a lot. So I was really impressed by that. And then the way that it keeps peeling itself back layer after layer after layer, constantly surprisingly, constantly changing what you think it's doing, constantly going new places, in itself was brilliant. But the fact that it just kept getting funnier and funnier and funnier was even more impressive. I just think it was actually a pretty brilliant piece of comedy.
I loved the character of Noah. I loved how matter of fact she is about her murderous ways. Her comedic timing was great. Um, her some of her my favorite lines were, you know, clearly we can't be a couple now, as she's standing over her dead boyfriend, or you know, we were out of milk when confronted with the fact that she's just eating cereal out of the box after committing murder. So I love the humor in this. I thought it was great. Also loved the fact that we see Noah step over the body of her boyfriend in the beginning of this film without knowing what's on the ground ourselves. So there's a bit of reverse dramatic irony there for us, which I really enjoyed, looking back. Um, I liked the slow realization that this murder wasn't an accident and Noah has murdered before, because at first we don't suspect her of being a serial killer, of course, but we have this slow realization along with her counterpart that she is not to be trifled with. Um, the slow realization that she is in fact a mastermind. The ending itself was perfect, and I also really enjoyed the small evil asides to the audience that Noah has as she's planning to murder her counterpart.
My favorite part about this piece are the camera inserts and transitions of these simplistic acts. Pouring the glass of wine, playing with the knife and the cinder block, the moment where they break the fourth wall. Things don't really get interesting until it's time to for a cooked meal. And this moment for our leading lady, shows us how ill state of mind she's in. Truly, through banter, we kind of realize that this isn't the first time he's cleaned up her mess before. This is their version of a Thursday night dinner. The intimate moments that we find ourselves to be involved in always come out to be bloody and violent in actuality. The title of this short kind of proves these characters will not change. Our lead even heeding a warning that she will have no issue in taking him out of the equation, and proves it as so in the end, staying kind of true to the character that they've built for us.
I think it was quite funny, honestly, a great horror comedy with a fantastic ending. I mean, it was absolutely brilliant and quite funny. And overall, the performances, I think the main characters really have a great connection, and they, I really, I was dying laughing really when she was just eating the cereals, and then he went there and discovered the boyfriend, and she kept claiming that they just broke up, they weren't together anymore. The calmness that she was keeping, on the couch, that was brilliant. Overall, a great short. I really liked the production value as well. There was great makeup and a special effect used. The blood, the scene when the blood splashes on her face is great. It's gore and it's brilliant and it's funny. I think overall it was a very well done short, very funny and simple, but that's what we need for our comedy: simple and funny.
Clearly psychotic, but it was written in a very humorous and great way that I enjoyed watching it. I was expecting to be scared, and there was a couple jump scares, like when the boyfriend jumped up, but mainly it was laughter, that she's just completely oblivious to what she does wrong and doesn't really care. Her attitude is kind of blasé about murder altogether, and it's what makes the story great, that you could take a serious topic and make it funny. It's something I didn't think could be done, and it was, because I very much enjoyed this film. I enjoyed the fact that there was very little score to it, which made it even more hilarious. There's an undertone of it, and it was like the typical horror film stuff, but it actually impacted the story where you were it was kind of laughing at someone who is psychotic, and they don't care. And that she still has a good friend who will help her, even though he knows it's going to end up in his death eventually.
I like the fresh take on the serial killer idea. I like the fact that it was a comedy that was actually funny, that actually had me laughing. When she's like, "Oh, I cut off one of her ears. We got to make it even." That was funny. Um, that whole vibe when like exaggerated blood, like the choice to do that, where it's like just squirting him with blood over and over. I think that is funny, and I think that's how you do. That is textbook how you do like serial killer flip the genre type beat. Almost like an homage type beat. I rock with it.